Yo. Hello, hello. Hey, Monkey. Hey, Dread. Hey, guys.
Peter, the streamer's here.
Yeah, I hope you guys have been doing all right. And thank you for dropping by, Dread. I know you won't be here for a while, or for long. But I do appreciate it. Sucks about your phone, though. Sorry you broke your phone. Oh, man. Oh, man. I have been sucked right back into the Path of Exile 2 rabbit hole. You might be here for an hour, actually. Okay, that's good. Hey, yo, what? What's wrong with being sucked down into a rabbit hole? What the fuck? But yeah, the new season came out, and I was like, all right, I'll try it out, see how it is. And they did a lot of quality of life stuff that's made me like want to get back into the game again. Like, I've only been playing for maybe 2 days and I'm already like level 40. I'm not even going that hard. Like, I want to say I maybe have 10, 12 hours into the new season and my character's already level 40. Like, let me get the receipts. Recent playtime. Okay, 16 hours. That's a bit more. That's a bit more than I thought it would be. But 16 hours isn't that bad. Like, when the season start? Friday? And today's Monday? So closer to maybe 3 days worth, because I didn't really play yesterday. You've been locked in on Helldivers? Oh yeah, the new update came out today, right? The one where you go into the bug caves. Or is that not today? I know it's coming out soon. I don't even have Helldivers in my recent games anymore. No, it's just on Xbox now. Oh, okay. Okay. And the new update comes out tomorrow, September 2nd. Okay, I got it. We're good. We're good. All right. The new War Bond comes out on the 4th, and the update comes out on the 2nd. It's kind of weird how they do that. It's kind of weird how they drop the War Bond separately, you know? I mean, whatever. You guys got the Halo one, so it's fine. I wish I had the hard drive space for it, man. I really wish I had the hard drive space for Helldivers, but like, I think reinstalling PoE 2, I only have like maybe 100 gigabytes left on my gaming hard drive. So it's not a lot of wiggle room, especially with games nowadays all being like 100 gigabytes for no good reason. You've been saving up for the ODST one. You got Demolition first. Demolition is one of the best war bonds. That's a good call. That's like the most bang for your buck. Do I need a channel website? You would do it for free? I don't think I need a channel website, but thank you, Mucky, for the offer. I think I'm good for now. I don't want to stretch myself too thin. But yeah, hope you guys have had a good weekend. Yesterday was D&D. It went long. I intended to be home around 7 or 8 so I could hop on stream with you guys, but we ended up doing the final boss fight of that part of the story that we're in. So we went a little long and I got home at 9. And I just came home and crashed. I took an hour nap, woke up, and it's like, all right, time, rise and grind, gamer. PoE's calling.
Bring it on!
Me on 3 hours of sleep, tackling a whole ass day of D&D. Basically me yesterday. You want the plasma shotgun if the plasma gun isn't that good? I think they're fine. They buffed all the plasma stuff to be a lot better than how they released. So it should be good now. What was I gonna say? Right, so what are we doing today? I'm doing something a little bit different, kind of a bit of an experiment for me. My music ended, so I need more music. Yeah, a bit of an experiment. So to start, what I'm kind of planning is like we're gonna be reading some internet horror today. We're gonna read it and have some fun with it. And I was gonna start with some 2-sentence horror. This song is way too active for me. I'm gonna start with some 2-sentence horror, and then if we get bored of that, there's probably some like no sleep / creepy pastas we could read that we could have some fun with. That's what I'm sort of thinking. It's been a while since we've done something that isn't like playing a game, and I've kind of been like juggling this idea in my head for a little bit of doing a stream like this. Just sort of like waiting for the right moment for it. And you know what? Maybe right now is it. Not gonna lie, the Quasar might be better than the Railgun, but nothing is as satisfying. I'm a excuse me. I'm a recoilless rocket enjoyer. I'm always bringing the rocket, and if I'm not bringing that, I'm bringing the expendable. That's me. You opened up the company fridge to eat your lunch, but your lunch was eaten. Buddy. Next time you go into work, what you do is you make your food really spicy. You're British, so that's like a bit of pepper, but like make it really spicy, and then find the person going, "Oh bloody hell! Who put all this pepper on this sandwich? Oh good heavens!" That's your true 2-sentence horror. Where you're at, Monkey, is the 2nd of September. You're in the future. Well, hello from the past. Hello. Yeah, I think we'll switch over to the topic at hand in a little bit. I just want to hang out with you guys a little bit longer, you know? You know? Why didn't you warn the US about 9/11? They couldn't. It's a canon event. You can't alter the timeline around canon events, dude. We know this. Deadpool taught us this. We can't alter the timeline. Or was it Loki? I don't remember. It might have been Loki. Cannon smannin. Those are the words of someone who doesn't want to stay on the golden timeline, buddy. Watch your words or you're gonna get erased by the Thought Patrol. Watch your words, buddy. All right, let me get my thing opened up. Let me get this rocking. I'll admit, I got a little distracted by Path of Exile 2. I forgot to set up the window properly, so might need a moment for that. At that update, you weren't even in the game. You're still not in the game world. What are you talking about there, Mucky? What game? Path of Exile? No, probably not. Probably not. Who would play that game? All right. Let's get some spooky ambience. Okay. Let's see. Let's ambient music for places you shouldn't be. Okay. Yeah. I love how the art... I can probably show you guys this. Hold on. Fuck. I forgot what Windows what. Krimm jump scare. Oh no. I'm sorry about that. I guess I can just do it from here. Yeah, that's fine. At 9/11, you weren't even in the world. Ow! Damn. I guess we are reaching that point in history where it's been that long, huh? That's crazy to think about. I don't want to keep thinking about that. That's gonna make me very tired very quickly. Okay. Old. Hey, Dread, you're not that far behind me, bro. Chill out, all right? Chill out. Only got a couple years, huh? It's got a couple years. I'm 28 years young, all right, brother? All right, let's try that. All right. Okay, I need to pause this music for now. I need to pause this. Okay. All right. So if I bring that up, it should be pretty close. Yeah, whatever. Good enough. Good enough. Where's my Crimbly? There he is. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is all work in progress. Again, this is just an experiment, seeing how this goes. Yeah. What I wanted to start with was I want to start with the very best that two-sentence horror has to offer. Top of all time. Top of all time. Maybe even what I can do. I'll probably zoom it in a bit more, so it's more focused on the stories and the sidebars and shit. So let's go like. All right. And then oh. Okay. Not quite at what I had in mind. That's fine. Bro, these first two. All right. I haven't even read these yet. You're ahead of me. So if I click in here, how's that look? That okay. Let's do it like that. All right. Sorry guys. Sorry. I'm figuring life out over here. But okay, yeah, we're gonna rapid fire these. We're gonna rapid fire these. Okay. All right, I'm good to go now. I'm good to go. Turn back on the milk music. Look how sad the milk is. You don't see my cursor. Wait. You don't see my cursor. Now you do. No, you don't. Whatever. I don't care enough. All right. Yeah, we're going to rapid fire some of these, get a little bit of a taster, and see where it goes. Okay. So these are the top of all time for two-sentence horror. The bar isn't very high, but you know what? Maybe there's some diamonds in the rough. There's probably some diamonds in the rough here that we haven't seen before. You know how to delete a Reddit account? No. I made an account just for this stream. I haven't had an account before this. Okay. All my life, my parents told me... Oh, sorry. I fucked it up already. My parents have told me not to open the basement door, but I got curious and disobeyed them. What is that glowing ball in the sky? Why does it hurt my eyes? Oh, he was in the basement. He was in the basement. POV. your prisoner child in the basement. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. When the kidnapper made me guess where he kept my daughter, I went for the basement. He said, "Correct!" allowing me to see her. But when I found her severed head in there, I learned that every other choice would have been correct as well. Hey, Sorta, how's it going, dude? Hello. We're just chilling today. Reading some quality internet horror. Hold on. Let me see if I can do something here. We'll see that quality. Quality. All right. Quality. Okay. All right, next. I've been working on stories to compete with the best on this sub, but I'm finding it near impossible. I'm beginning to think some of you are just making yours up. Wait, why is that one of the top voted? Why does that have Reddit Diamond? Fabulous. Splendiferous. Super califragilistic expialidocious. That's how you spell that? That's how you spell that? Okay. What the how do you say this? How do you say this word? What's... Dude, why is it so hard to find a text-to-speech out here? Whatever.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
The fuck is that? Opposition to the disestablishment of the Church of England. Okay. Okay. Well, that's a word. Yeah. Top tier Reddit humor. I'm gonna move on. I think I'm gonna start reading the comments for some of these. See what Redditors have to say. Whenever I considered killing myself to escape my parents' abuse, I just recite my mantra: you don't deserve to die. Ironically, now that they're old, hungry, covered in bed sores, and begging to be put out of their misery, I still have the same mantra. Wow. Crazy. I framed the last letter I got as a police officer from a woman thanking me after I'd supported her through her daughter's suicide. I passed it in my hallway every day for nearly 8 years before realizing the handwriting was the same as on the girl's suicide note. He would be a terrible detective. Yep, no notes on that. My husband has been very upset with me since my failed suicide attempt. He's crying nonstop and won't acknowledge me. Oh, this one's deleted. Why is this one deleted? Let me find a good one. It kind of sucks because I think they started banning shit posts. All right, let's go. Hot. So these are more recent. I got bored of the best ones. Congratulations, you're now a proud father, the doctor responded, rubbing his eyes while ignoring my question on the child's sex. I think you need to call a priest first, he wheezes barely, his whole left arm now swallowed by the black ichor that stemmed from the operation theater. The black ichor. For those like me who are learning a new word today, ichor has two definitions. Okay. Is ichor really that rare of a word? I don't think it is. Yo, that's some top tier backrooms right there, though. Look at that. Maybe I'm too in deep on like Lovecraft, and that's why I know what ichor is, like a normal word. As I lay on the ground, bleeding out and unable to move, I called out, "Siri, call 911! You'll need to unlock your iPhone first." It's okay, sweetie. You'll soon be all better, said the toddler's mother, checking her doctor's handbook. She held the crying child firmly as she pulled down his underpants, readying the syringe of chlorine dioxide to cleanse the autism right out of him. I think every time I read a bad story, quality is going to get a little bit bigger. What are these? These are 2-sentence horror stories. They're supposed to be like a setup line. I probably should have started with this. It's supposed to be a first sentence to set up the scenario, and then the second line is the punchline, which is supposed to be the scary part. Oh. You mean as in, why are these? Yeah, why are these scary? Yeah. Yeah. Is there like bad 2-sentence horror? Is there like a separate subreddit for the bad ones? There's no sort by controversial anymore. Let's do sort by new. Why are Reddit comments so dark? Redditors. Redditors, man. Be brave at camp for me, sweetheart, my mom said with tears in her eyes. But mom, what is Auschwitz? I tugged a loose hair from my scalp, expecting the familiar sting. Instead, it slid out endlessly like a long black thread, and I could feel it unraveling something deep inside my chest. That one? I like this one. This one is interesting. I like that. That's like, it's almost like a Junji Ito setup. You have like a loose hair that you pull on your head, and you just keep pulling it, and more comes out, but you feel like a tightening in your gut. And then like the next panel like skips to a couple days and the neighbor's checking on you, and they open the door and there's like a whole woman inside your stomach somehow, even though you weren't pregnant. Hi, I'm the next Junji Ito. How's it going? His stories his story setups are always the weirdest shit, but I love it. I love how weird Japanese horror can get. And that's reminded me of it. Stone Ocean. So it's a stand. You keep telling him to share a secret that you've known for years. Well, why didn't you share the secret when you were in charge? Okay. Those stupid ant trap things my ex left in the house completely killed the vibe of the house. So naturally, I got rid of them. I told him when I have guests over, I don't want them asking why we have so many raid traps on the shelves. But he just kept saying, "No, babe, we might have raid on," like some kind of idiot. Wait, what? Wait, did they say Auschwitz? They sure did. Yeah, they sure did. I love Reddit. I only use this website for scrolling through news when I'm bored, man. It's for finding the best kind of psychopaths. It's fun. "Don't open the bag!" shouted my mother over the phone. The bag being an old, clawed suitcase drenched in water and mildew. I remained silent as I looked at the now open bag free of its chains. I then heard the small, angry sounds of hissing and growling. Then my mother's screams and cries, cutting the call. That one was weird. I kind of like that one. I think I might swap to like some actual creepypastas in a bit. See what kind of crap people are coming up with. As I turned off my phone, a voice appeared behind me.
I'm still watching, it said.
Let the cat out of the bag? Oh my god, that's what that's referring to. They let the cat out of the bag. But it was Demon Cat that killed Mother over the phone. Dun dun dun. My blind date went so well, I'm taking her back to my place tonight. Good thing she thinks my coffin is a bed, and on her last night on Earth, she thinks I'll be sleeping too. So, this one night, I had a dream I fell out of a boat, now stuck in an ocean. Turns out I threw up in my sleep. Don't you hate when that happens? Don't you hate when you throw up all over the floor, then you swim through it when you're sleeping? Happens to me all the time. I wore nothing but body paint to work one day, and the only reaction I got was from the receptionist who handed me a belt. I can see them looking at me now, but the ceiling fan is drowning out their voices. What? What? Suicide? What? I don't know if I agree with the suicide interpretation. I don't know what's going on with that. Don't know how I feel about that. After I asked them what was so funny, they suddenly stopped laughing, and everyone was crumpled to the ground dead. Although it was a traumatic thing to witness, I couldn't stop myself from starting to giggle. You don't get it? Yeah, that body paint one didn't really make sense to me. Why is r/femboy Lego on your For You? What? Is it? No, I'm not gonna ask. I'm just gonna leave that there. He squeezed and squeezed, trying to pop the pimple on his nose. Finally, the pore split open with a snap, and a single spindly leg curled its way out. Oh my god! Thanks for the resub, Danny. Thank you. I really appreciate it, man. 12 months. That's crazy. You just want to listen to me yap in peace, for fuck's sake. No, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I don't know what to do about ads, because, like, I think the pre-roll ads are getting worse. Maybe, like, if I started running mid ads while I, like, go for breaks or something, it might be better, but I don't know. I don't know. Felt my wife crawl into bed beside me, cold and trembling, whispering that someone was in the house. When I reached for my phone to call the police, the screen lit up with a text from her. Don't move. He's in the bed with you. Oh! Anyways, you're going back to looking at your laptop half asleep. No problem, Danny. Yeah, have a good one, man. Thanks for popping into chat. Hope you enjoy the quality horror. I heard the boy whisper that there's a monster in his closet, and I was relieved when his father didn't look inside. But when the father said, "Leave him in darkness," my hand vanished into the knob as I was torn away, cursed to wander dark closets seeking the only door my lost hand can open. What? Wait. But when the father said, "Leave him in darkness," my hand vanished into the knob as I was torn away. This is a top 1% poster. I guess they're like a demon cursed to be in a closet. Okay. My brother got me a lifetime supply of Texas Roadhouse cinnamon butter bread rolls, but only got me a dozen. I'm glad I'll have something to eat on my way to the doctor's appointment tomorrow. That's so fucking dark. That's so dark. What a horrible last meal, too. Fucking Texas Roadhouse cinnamon butter bread rolls. I've never heard of those in my life. Are those real? What does it look like? Texas Roadhouse cinnamon butter rolls. Oh. Yeah, they're real. Spooky home cooking. What's wrong with them? They're good. Oh, I'm not saying they're bad. I just never heard of them before. Honestly, looking at them, they kind of look good. The nurse enjoyed listening to her baby's heartbeat on her breaks, using the Doppler kept on the ward. Unfortunately, no one had taught her to take her own pulse at the same time. What? What's a Doppler? I stayed the hell away from at-home Dopplers when I was pregnant. The joy of hearing my baby at home was not worth the anxiety of doing it wrong and thinking my baby was dead. What? Just find a Texas Roadhouse? Are there even Texas Roadhouses in Canada? Texas Roadhouse, Canada. There are currently no Texas Roadhouse restaurants in Canada. That's a lie. There's... What the fuck? Google AI lied to me. Directly below it... Directly below it is there's one in Toronto. All right, I guess I know where I'm going. I guess I know where I'm going next time I go to Toronto. Okay. Where were we? Where were we? Doesn't show I've clicked on any of these, so they might all be new. What's that? A girl asked, startling the man just as he was about to pour a gallon into the lake. He tried to say it was expired pesticide, but she passed through him with a long, liquid finger and melted back into the water. I was about to read this one, but nope. Nope, nope, nope. All right, here we are. Here we are. Okay. We're back. We're back. After great pain and several casualties, we managed to trap the demon in a circle of holy chalk and salt. Then the fiend brought out a pressure washer. Get fucked, idiots. Why did he leave a pressure washer in the circle with them, you fools? A mother's love is unconditional, my mom says, as makes me chicken noodle soup. So is their evil, I murmur to myself, as I see her slip bleach into the pot. That one below the video. When the fireflies came, I was wondering why everyone was putting on blindfolds. They were so pretty, and I wanted to chase them forever and ever. Okay. It's got a nice mystery to it. I like it. It's kind of like a bird box thing. Is that what it's called when people have the blindfolds on? I'd rather die than to be at work right now, I said, looking out the window. I then knew I would get what I was hoping for as I saw a plane barreling towards me. 96 upvotes. 97. It's so stupid. Let's see. I think I'll do a couple more of these. swipe to pay, the cashier says mundanely, and I oblige with my baby. Currency was now valued on years to live, and I had just hit the jackpot at my local nursery. Okay. Their whole lives, they wondered what lies outside the city's wall. Is a sniper. Give me one more good one. Ooh, I was taking a midnight stroll through the park when suddenly my legs became trapped in something very sticky. My brain froze as the gigantic rat emerged and picked up the edge of the trap I stepped in while sneering.
Not so funny now, is it?
He's the giant rat who makes all of the rules. Fear him. Okay. Let's hop over to, I think it's No Sleep is the one I want. Yeah. No Sleep is the one I want. All right, let's see. We're gonna keep it sorted by hot, true horror, Marvel Rivals. Let's see what we got here. Remember those creepy chainmails from the early mid 2000s? I got one this morning. Or yesterday, your fiance and I went. My fiance and I went for a hike in the forest. When I returned, I learned I was missing for 10 years. Ooh, I work fire lookout in Arizona. Something out there is wearing my face. We'll do that one. That sounds fun. I also want to do... I kind of like this one. I want to read this one. Because I like chainmails. I think it's funny. I don't know. Okay. All right, first real story. Maybe you're too young or too old to know what I'm talking about, so I'll explain it first. Basically, somebody sends out an email with a subject line like, "Keep reading, don't ignore," and then the message itself will contain some kind of short horror story. Something about how a squirrel girl was pushed in a well. If you didn't repost it or forward it X amount of people, she'd come crawling out of your toilet and drag you down into the pipes. Something like that. They all typically follow a similar formula. The first time I got one of them was back in middle school. Not an email, but a Facebook post that popped up on my feed. I don't exactly remember what the story was, just that it terrified me enough at the time that I actually did repost it. Something my friends completely roasted me for after the fact, but hey, no demon girl crawling out of my toilet, so who's to say I didn't make the right call? Obviously, the entire concept of these chainmails or scare mails is pretty dumb and juvenile. And most of the stories were so terribly written that they could only work on skittish 13-year-olds. But as dumb as they were still entertaining enough to engage with back in the day. They were still entertaining enough to engage with back in the day. Sorry, I fucked that up. It was fun to just fuck around and pretend they were real, core childhood memories. I remember... did I get one of these? I don't know if it was me that got one of these, but I think one of my brother's friends showed me like one of those spooky jump scare videos from like early YouTube. And he convinced me that I was cursed now that I'd seen the video, and that I had to do one of those chainmails to get the curse off me. Of course, I was like 8 or 9 and I didn't know how to send an email. So I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna die within a week. I was pretty scary. Then it turns out, no. Nothing. That's like my one experience with that sort of thing. It wasn't even really a chainmail. It's like someone trying to make me do a chainmail. This morning I was sitting at my desk watching YouTube while sipping coffee. My typical routine before work. Before leaving, I did a quick scan through my email. Nothing unusual. There's an invite to a wedding, a newsletter from my old university, and my boss complaining about some BS. But right before I was about to close my laptop, something new landed in my inbox. It's from an address I didn't recognize. Just one word in the subject line. Sorry. Sorry? Oh, it's a Canadian scare mail. Oh, sorry about that, eh? A bit weird and a bit concerning. Probably malware. I barely respond to emails I actually have to. Why would I bother with this? I ended up clicking on it anyway. Life had been a bit monotonous recently. Maybe this would prove to be something interesting. The message is only a few sentences. Blah, blah, I cannot talk. Why is my brain malfunctioning today already? Ugh. The message was only a few sentences long. I'll paste it below. Oh, all caps you say. One night, a woman was hit by speeding car at night. The driver was intoxicated and did not call police. Instead, he dragged her bleeding body down into the sewers and left her there to die. They found her body 2 days later and brought it into the morgue, where they cleaned her up and tucked her away. But when they went to take her out 2 weeks later, she was missing. Her empty body bag filled with stinky poop. If you do not forward this to 5 others by midnight, she will be in your room tonight. She will cover you with poop. This is not joke. You know what you did. I think I laughed out loud after reading it. I couldn't even remember the last time I'd seen one of these. What a blast from the past, albeit a little more intense than the ones I remembered seeing as a kid. But I suppose that these things evolve over time. I was still a bit perturbed that it had been sent to my work email, but then again, I work at a pretty big company. It probably wasn't a terribly hard thing to find. The email contained an attachment as well. A single PNG file named her. I figured it was going to be some AI-generated image of a demon woman. An attempt at a cheap scare in order to prolong the joke, so I decided to humor the sender by opening it up. But there's nothing there. It's a plain, black image. What a letdown. I didn't think about it much for the rest of the day. Work was stressful. I had to force myself to endure a boxing class afterwards. By the time I got home, I was ready to eat dinner and then just pass out. After eating, I was lying on the couch sipping sangria. Sangria. While messaging this girl that I matched with on Hinge. I was having trouble coming up with things to talk about, so I mentioned the email. She's about the same age as me, so I figured she'd get a kick out of it. Which she did. She gave me her email and asked me to forward her, then she wanted to see it, just curious. So I sent it. Then I put my phone down and went to go take a shower. When I checked my phone again, she sent another message. Holy shit, that was horrifying. Or holy shit, that's horrifying. I messaged her back, like, something like, I know, right? I'm shitting bricks just thinking about it. But she wasn't joking. And that she wasn't talking about the story. Look at the image again. And turn your brightness all the way up. Look closely. It wasn't exactly what I wanted to read before going to bed, but I went ahead and did it. I opened up my email, then re-downloaded the file. Then turned the lights off and raised the brightness on my phone as high as it could go. I stared intently at the screen. It took some squinting, but I was able to see it. Elisa was right. It was absolutely fucking terrifying. Couldn't see much, but you could see just enough. A set of floating teeth just barely reflecting the minimal light there was. The crescent shape suggested a smile. 2 eyes hovered above. Both of them were unnaturally wide, as if they were actively being pried open by unseen hands. Immediately, I turned the lights back on. You know that feeling when you dig into your pockets and your wallet or your phone isn't there? I was feeling something similar to that, but with an added layer of dread. Details didn't add up. Was the email a joke or a genuine attempt at a scare? It was too terribly written to be serious, but if it was a joke, then why was this image the creepiest thing I'd ever seen? She sent another message, saying that she'd use a Lightroom to lift the exposure, make the image as bright as possible. I stared at her second email sitting in my inbox before opening it up. This is the point where any humor or nostalgia was completely sucked away from the situation. The image was still extremely dark, but enough details had been revealed for it to be somewhat clear that it was a woman's face. Kind of. More like something imitating a woman. Something extremely uncanny. I felt like my brain was trying to convince me that it was actually a mannequin. My scroll wheel's so broken, I'm sorry. I need a new mouse. Where was I? Something extremely uncanny. Felt like my brain was trying to convince me that it was actually a mannequin. Mostly due to the paper white skin. But the longer I stared at it, the less likely that seemed to be. Because I'd never seen a mannequin with an expression like that. Something so hateful, so evil. It didn't seem possible for any person or machine to recreate. How long is this? Okay. A smile was there, though the jaw was clenched. The teeth pressed tight together, the nostrils were large, flared wide open, each one like a shotgun barrel. The eyes were owl-like, stretched out in a painful-looking way, but the brows were drawn down. The skin furrowed heavily between them as if this person were actually supposed to be squinting. A contradiction of features, I don't know how else to explain it. I didn't expect this story to be actually like pretty good. So I'm just getting into it now. I wanted to clown on it, but it's actually not that bad. Where was I? Here we are. I tried doing reverse image search, but it came back empty. I know that's not definitive proof or anything, but I've been hoping that at least an obscure art forum would have turned up. The picture was just so odd and frightening that being able to connect it to something would have maybe settled my nerves a bit. Whoever had conjured this whole thing up was good, because it had freaked me out in a way that I really didn't like. I was standing in the kitchen, just mulling it over, when somebody knocked at the door. I checked the time. Seeing 10 past midnight? Weird, but alright. I checked the peephole, seeing a cop standing at my door, even fucking weirder. It's just a really blurry and dark picture of a dog. Dude, is this like somebody's dog that he creepypasta-ified? I could see that. I opened it, and immediately she asked me to step outside. No explanation, just the dead serious look in her eye, as if she thought I was hiding a body somewhere. I asked her what this was about. "Come out now," she said, her voice now barely above a whisper. "Just do it." Maybe I'd done something while I was blackout drunk? Anyway, I obliged. As soon as we were out in the hall, the cop shut the door behind me. She gestured for me to follow her, and I did. First question she asked me once we made it outside to the parking lot was whether I lived by myself. I told her I did. Or I told her... Wait, what? I told her by myself. Okay. She took a deep breath, introduced herself as Officer Viana before explaining that she had been called over here to deal with a noise complaint. I knew who she was talking about. A guy named Sam living 3 doors down from me. Rich college kid, kind of annoying as fuck, but I wasn't the one who called it in. After warning him to shut the music off, she'd walk outside to leave when she looked over at the window leading to my bedroom. I live on the first floor, my unit's right beside the entrance. If you're about average height, you'd be able to see into it from the lot. She said that I hadn't closed my blinds and that I left my window open, and that the streetlights were just bright enough for her to be able to see inside. She said that she saw the outline of a figure standing by the door completely still, as if they were waiting for somebody to enter. She said it didn't look like a doll or mannequin, that she got the sense it was something dangerous. The entire time she spoke, she had a hand on her weapon, her eyes continuously darting between me and the window. I did remember leaving the window and blinds open. It's a bad habit, but somebody would have to break through the mesh screen in order to get in. I would have heard it. Sam's music bleeding through the walls would not have been loud enough to muffle it, not a chance. And then I realized I'd gone to my bedroom to reach the shower about half an hour before she showed up. I hadn't seen anything then, but what if I just hadn't looked? Honestly, I didn't want to believe what she was telling me, because if it's true, what the frick was I dealing with? We were standing too far away from the building for me to be able to see anything, so I began walking over to get a look at it for myself, but Vienna stopped me. You probably don't want to see it, she told me. For your own sake, I wouldn't recommend it. Her tone was earnest enough for me to believe her. I asked her what to do. She's told me to wait. She'd already called for backup. Once they arrived, they'd go ahead and enter my apartment. Didn't seem like I had another option, so I told her, all right. At this point, still hanging on to skepticism, more as a coping tool than anything else. You're gonna go for now? Probably won't be able to come back before you're done. So yeah, oh, no problem, sorta. I'll catch you later. See you next time. The backup arrived nearly 20 minutes ago. They're still in my apartment. It's getting cold outside, so right now I'm waiting in the lobby. If anybody's wondering, no, still haven't told them about the email. There's just no way. No way it could have been connected, but now I don't know. Not sure what to expect. If anything happens, I'll update. Does bro have an update? No, it's from 7 hours ago. There's no update. All right. Okay. That one was surprisingly pretty good. That's a pretty decent opening to a story. All right, I think we'll read the fire lookout one. I live in the middle of nowhere, but an old woman keeps knocking on my door. I work night security. Last week, someone started living in Unit 47. Strange red plant growing from my flesh. Oh, ho, ho. Oh, I'm gonna read that one too. Okay. All right. I work fire lookout shifts in Arizona. Something out there is wearing my face. Give me a sec. I'm just gonna blow my nose real fast. Oh, wait, I just read this thing on the side here. You do not have permission. I mean, I'm not doing an official narration for this. It's probably fine. We're just reading. Just reading. If anything, I'm more of like a preview for the stories. Okay. I work fire lookout shifts in northern Arizona, Pine Country. High elevation. Oh, whoa. Oh, that's a new sentence. Okay. I work fire lookout shifts in northern Arizona. Pine Country, high elevation. Isolation is part of the job. Most nights. Most nights, it's just the crackle of the radio, the hiss of wind through the pines, and the occasional coyote. I've been here long enough to recognize every sound this forest makes, or at least thought I had. 2 weeks ago, I saw something on the ridge west of my tower. First, I thought it was a hiker. Tall, lanky, moving slow through the trees. I grabbed the binoculars, logged it, called it in. A standard procedure, except it was close to midnight. That ridge doesn't have trails. No one should have been there. Kept watching. The figure stopped between two pines, perfectly still. Tilted its head like it was listening. When I tried the radio again, the signal cut into static. A second later, I heard my own voice echo back over the frequency. Everything's fine. Just logging it. Those were the exact words I'd spoken a minute earlier. That's when it screamed. Not an animal scream, not even close. It sounded like something trying to force words through a throat that had forgotten how to use them. Half human, half animal, all wrong. The sound clawed at me in a way I still feel when I try to sleep. By the time I steadied my hands and looked back through binoculars, it was gone. Next morning, I asked the rangers to sweep the ridge. They didn't find hikers, didn't find campers. The only thing out of place was an elk carcass. Ribs splayed like fingers, hide hanging in strips. The kill didn't look clean, not torn by wolves. Not eaten by scavengers. Blah, blah, blah. Scavengers! Blah, 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 blah. The cuts were messy, almost deliberate. That night, I kept the spotlight sweeping the tree line for hours. Nothing. Just the sway of the pines and the quiet weight of the dark. Around 2 a.m., I caught something crouched just outside the edge of the light. Not an animal, not a man. Something in between. Its skin was stretched too tight, like it was wearing something that didn't belong to it. The face, if I can call it that, looked borrowed. Lips crooked, jaw unhinged too far, like it wasn't built to stay attached. It mouthed words I couldn't hear, but I felt them, deep in my teeth and my bones. Moments later, it bolted, moving faster than anything should be able to. 2 nights later, one of the ground crew went missing. Found his truck abandoned on a service road. Headlights still burning, engine still running. The driver's side door was wide open. The snow around the vehicle was covered in footprints. Bare feet, too long, too many. We found him 3 miles deeper in the forest. He was strung up in a ponderosa pine, like someone had tossed him there. Throat gone, tongue left whole. The snow at the base of the tree had been disturbed, smears of blood and dirt traced into words. It wears you. After that, I stopped sleeping. Every night I heard it closer. Sometimes it circled the tower, breathing under the floorboards. Sometimes it whispered my name in voices that belonged to people I knew. My brother, my supervisor, and even my own. One night, I broke. I whispered back.
What do you want?
It whispered in my voice.
Let me in.
I filled the report. Asked for reassignment. Base denied it, said the evidence was inconclusive. So I stayed, kept watch, and waited. The following week, Venison disappeared from cold storage. Not cut, not bitten, torn apart by hand. Fingernails embedded in the fat. Ugh. Tracks led from the locker straight to the tower stairs. Halfway up, pressed into the wood, was a face. Not carved, not drawn. Pressed, like something with no skin of its own had leaned hard enough to leave an impression behind. It looked like me. That was 4 nights ago. Since then, the tower's gone quiet. Too quiet. No radio chatter, no animal sounds, just me and the trees, and something circling when the sun goes down. Last night I woke up to sound of footsteps on the stairs. Slow, heavy, and pausing between each step like it was waiting for me to move first. I gripped the rifle and kept the spotlight trained on the door. Soon after I heard knocking. Not on the tower door. On the glass right behind my head. I froze. Didn't breathe. The knock came again. Louder. I turned. There's a face pressed against the glass. My face. Only the eyes weren't mine. This morning, base called. Said they'd gotten reports of me transmitting all night long. Calm and steady.
It's fine.
They said I told them.
Just logging it.
Thing is, I never touched the mic. The radio's been dead for days. I should have left, packed up, climbed down, and never looked back, but the force feels wrong now, like it's waiting for me to try. And tonight's worse. The air's heavy and still. Tree line looks closer than it did yesterday. That's not good. The forest has turned against me. I don't know what I'll do in these difficult times. Where was I? Where was I? There we are. About an hour ago, I heard movement below the tower. Not circling this time, climbing, nails on wood. I stayed at the top of the stairs with the rifle leveled. Something paused halfway up, breathing like it had lungs too big for its body. Slowly, the breathing shifted until it matched mine. Inhale for inhale, exhale for exhale. I backed away, waited. After a moment, the sound stopped. When I checked the stairs, nothing was there, but on the landing, scratched in the wood with something sharp, were 3 words. You are tired. That's past midnight. Spotlight just flickered. My reflection in the glass isn't lining up anymore. It's smiling when I'm not. I keep catching glimpses of something tall between the trees. Something wearing pieces of me. Something wearing pieces of me that don't fit right. Every time I blink, it's closer. Not on the tree line anymore. Not outside. In the tower. Standing just behind me. Dun dun dun! Dun dun dun! That was okay. Kind of like a Skinwalker story. I didn't mind that. Oh, that was pretty good. Alright, what was that other one I wanted to read? If my scroll wheel will work, I'll probably be able to get down to it. There it is. Strange red plants growing from my flesh. Yeah. Love me some body horror, you know me. You know, we found some real quality, so I'm gonna like make the quality a little bit smaller, like that. It's like the Randy meter that we had when we played Blue Shift, but like it'll actually go smaller when we find good stuff. Okay. Okay. The strange red plant growing from my flesh. I should probably be reading the usernames as well. This is from Real Tension 2508. And real fast, I'm actually going to correct that mistake. The last one we read was from Pentyworth 223. Good shit. And the first one we read was from Mr. Outlaw. So thank you, Mr. Outlaw. Okay. This one is a series. Yeah, okay. My arm itched like hell. I scratched and scratched. I scratched until the skin turned red and left behind little red scabs. I dug out the little flecks of skin under my fingernails. Yeah, nah, I'm not feeling this one anymore. No. I think that's too gross out body humor or body horror for me right now. That might be too much. Let's see. Let's sort by new. Let's sort by new. The boy in my backyard. I'm trapped on the edge of an abyss. My depravity has to die. Update 18. Okay, maybe not. The shadows in my apartment don't watch, they wait. Okay. Maybe that one. You found Bunker 999. Bunker 999? My father is a hole in the ground. Okay, I gotta read this. This one does have a animal abuse tag, so be careful of that. But we'll read this by Rue Morgue. Horror writer, they them buy my book, The Grave Bell. Oh, they got a book. Okay. My father is a hole in the ground. I need new music. Hold on. I need new ambient music. Okay. Yeah, let's go with this. Yeah. Okay. I was raised in a backwoods town by a young single mother. The only friend I had for much of my childhood. She'd had me in her early teens, raising me entirely without help in the house her estranged parents had left behind when they skipped town, without any responsibility to their daughter. I don't need them, Mom always said. All I ever wanted was you, and asked for a son, you came to me. Isn't that a beautiful thing? The neighbors thought my father to be some teenage boy my mother had gone with, or a husband that had strayed from his family and had abandoned my mama as soon as I was born. We let them think so. Oh, whoops. There we go, my bad. Sorry, still getting used to this setup. Yeah, we are right here. Can't even see my Let's see with my cursor. There we go. We're right here. We let them think so. As soon as I was old enough to understand things, my mother had taken me. Wait. As soon as I was old enough to understand things, my mother had taken me to visit my father in the forest, warning me never to go there on my own.
You could fall and end up hurt, Mama said, or likely pester your daddy with questions or favors of some kind. You leave him in peace.
Only she could be trusted to speak to my father, which she did as gently as any lover. Kneeling down in the dirt by him, her hands knotted in the grass. My father, you see, was a pit in the earth 6 feet long and wide. A well bucket hung on a length of rope over it, though there was no structure of any kind to suggest that hole had ever been used to draw water from. How deep it was, I don't know, for I'd never seen the bottom of the well even on the brightest day. Nor heard any of the stray stones or spilled earth that happened to fall into its reach. Wow. Let's try that again. I'm so sorry. How deep it was, I didn't know, for I'd never seen the bottom of the well even on the brightest day, nor heard any of the stray stones or spilled earth that happened to fall into it reach its end. That's such a weird sentence. My mama told me she'd found my father in the woods as a young girl and had fallen for him from their first meeting. The strangeness of which I never dared question. They spent days and nights talking with each other, and though I'd never heard that hole speak in my presence, I always had the feeling it, or he, was listening to us, that it looked on at where we stood over it. In conversation with him, my mother learned that if she placed something my father wanted in the well bucket, lowered it down the shaft, what came back would be something different, something she had asked for in return. In that way, she made requests for all kinds of things, food mostly in the beginning, then other necessities. Though never of such worth, she'd up and leave town with them. She loved my father with all of her heart and swore she'd never leave his side. One day, Mama asked the hole to give her a son, though what she offered in exchange she'd never say. For almost an hour, she sat waiting to pull the bucket back up. Then from the bottom of the well, she'd heard a baby cry and yanked on the rope till she had me in her arms. If my daddy's a pit in the dirt, I said once, what does that make me?
That's not what he is,
my mother snapped at me.
and besides, you're my boy. That's all. I don't want to hear you talk like that again, you hear?
I understand from the murmurings I heard around town that there are a lot of things in that part of the country you aren't to speak of out loud. Or if you did, only in some sideways fashion to avoid bad luck of some kind. Being that I'd never made any friends, my exposure to other kinds of thinking was little to none. I didn't question the life I was living or where I'd come from for the longest time. When I'd watch my mama conversing with the hole, or loading up that bucket with dead magpies in return for coins, I was only grateful I had a father that provided for us and expected so little in return. Sorry you missed everything. I was doing a shit ton of math and I had to clean up. No problem, Demo. No problem, dude. We're just reading spooky stories today of varying quality. We read some crap. We've read some good stuff so far. And this one right now is a story about a dude whose father is a hole in the ground. So we'll see where this one goes. Happy to have you here, man. No problem at all. Where was I? This couldn't last, of course. Not when I was old enough to see my life for what it was and acknowledge that it was not right. I was 11 years old when it first occurred to me that I should fear my father. Though the notion did not come to me of my own merit. Our furthest neighbors, the Guillot, whatever. They had started showing interest in me around that time. staring whenever I went by the house or making passing comments where before they'd kept their distance.
They're cousins of ours, Mom said when I asked her about them. We don't have nothing to do with them folk. You leave them be.
By then I'd learned that whatever my mother warned me away from, that whenever my mother warned me away from something, meant that there's some secret behind it I wanted to know. So when one day, Eddie Guillot came out of his front yard to talk to me, I lingered. Curious about the man my mama had nothing but harsh words for. You take care of yourself out there in them woods, said Eddie, jerking his head in the direction of the trees. I've seen Beatrice taking you out there with her. She ought to know it ain't safe. I wrote a story in 6th grade that I think was 6 chapters and 12,000 words that I never finished. We were working on it the full school year and passing English class with an S because of that. With an S? Damn, bro, not double SS plus? For shame. For shame, dude. I think I need to grab some caffeine or something. My eyes are like... I'm not reading words properly. I think I like need to turn the lights on and get some caffeine. Yeah, I think I'll do that real fast. Just give me a second, I'll be right back. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Got the lights on. Turn that off. There we go. All right. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream so far. Again, this is just like a trial run. If you guys are down with it, I'm down to do more stuff like this in the future, but if not, that is a-okay with me. That is a-okay. Okay, where are we? Here we are. We're down here. I thought of the disquiet I felt around the pit, and the guilt that came afterwards from not loving my father the way Mama did. Eddie squinted at me, his tanned face lined with concern. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Birdie? I shrugged. Mom had always told me to keep my mouth shut about my father if people came asking. And though she never so much as raised a hand at me, I was afraid of crossing her. All she'd have to do is give me a certain look and I'd hush up or quit whatever it was that I was doing right away. Looking back, I suppose I had a fear she'd put me in the well bucket and ask my father to take me away again. She threatened to, after all, from time to time when I'd acted up. Eddie leant down over his fence. Okay. The wood creaking under his hands. Look, he said. If you ever want to get out of this place, just say the word and I'll drive you out to the city. We got family over there that'd take you in and won't mind where you came from.
Mama don't want to move away, I said. She says she don't want to leave the forest behind.
There's a sadness in Eddie's eyes then, and something fearful too. I ain't taking your mama nowhere. Figures she ain't told you why our family don't talk no more.
No, sir.
I hoped Eddie would tell me, filling in one of the many holes Mama had purposely cut out of her history, but only turned and spat into a patch of wildflowers. You ask her sometime. Maybe she'll tell you the truth if you keep at her enough. She takes you out to that place after all. You know what she's been fooling with. I didn't reply, only looked down to watch a spider crawling over a rock. We all knew not to go out there when we was all kids together. All the old folks told us stories about the goings-on there used to be back before people knew better. But then some are just stupid and don't see no problem with what they do. Suddenly, I couldn't resist my curiosity.
You're talking about the pit?
Eddie nodded. That's right. The well man, only there's no man down there. This is all we knew to call it by. By the matter-of-fact logic of a child, I figured that if there wasn't any kind of man in the hole, then surely it couldn't be my father. But I believed what my mom had told me. I'd seen things brought up out of the black with my own eyes.
What's in the well? Magic?
Nah, not the good kind anyway. Some folks call your mama a witch for dealing with that thing, but she's just a slave. Without her going to the well man or well king. Wait, without her going to it, the well man can't get what he wants. It just sits, sleeping in the dirt till somebody makes their way over again. So it made Beatrice keep coming over. Told her just what she wanted to hear so she didn't know how it was playing her. I didn't like having the trees in my back then, nor the pit, which though miles into that wood seemed closer now, as though it had heard its name and it was eavesdropping on the two of us. There's something down there in that hole. Oh wait,
There's something down there in that hole, I said. Hear it moving sometimes, but never saw it or nothing.
Hardly anybody does, said Eddie darkly. Not unless they go down that well. If they do that, they ain't coming out. At least not as they were, so don't you think of doing it. Not even if your mom was with you.
I won't.
I meant it. I started to wonder what my mother did by that pit when I wasn't with her. Now I got to thinking about what had been sent down and brought up out of it in the past that had Eddie so afraid.
If it's not a man in there,
I said,
what is it?
but Eddie had caught sight of my mother coming out of our front door and backed off across the yard and up onto the stoop out of sight. You get along now, he said. You just remember what I said, all right? I don't want to see you get yourself hurt. I wandered over to Mother's house before she saw me lingering by the Guillot property and got wind of that I'd broken one of her rules. She stood waiting for me, swaying the way she always did when she was worked up about something.
Now just where the hell have you been? I thought I told you to stay home today. I got bored.
The mom voice and the kid voice have blended together. Oh my god. Oh god. Okay. I'm not a voice actor, I'm sorry. I got bored. Sorry, mama. I'll just read it normally. This kid will be the only person without a southern accent. She relaxed, but only slightly, fussing over me as though I had been gone for days.
Don't do it again. I thought...
Here my mother glanced off out the window at the woods, catching herself a second too late.
Well, I thought you'd run off on me, that's all. You come on inside now.
It is, she told me, but all the rest of the day into the night, I thought about my father. Wonder if my mom had truly chosen to love him, or if, like Eddie said, he made her feel that way somehow. I still cared for my mother. Felt sick of the thought of anything bad ever happening to her, or ever having to leave her. But speaking to Eddie had opened my eyes in a way that had never quite shut again. I was drawn to him and the knowledge he had to give. I had to wait till Mom was sick with one of her headaches to see him a second time. Eddie's wife had just had a baby girl not long since, and when I passed their yard, I saw Eddie holding her. pointing to a bird that had landed on a fence post. It flew off when I got near, and Eddie looked over at me, his smile falling. Your mom ain't been letting you out of the house much lately. Been looking out for you. How you holding up? Fine, I said. Eddie nodded. You ain't been fooling around by that well any? I know the way there, but I ain't ever been without Mama. I saw Eddie's shoulders ease slightly. That's good. I ain't ever let you see it. That's good, and it ain't ever let you see it. What's down there? Wait, what? Oh my god, I'm reading that wrong for the third time. I don't know if it's me or that actual dialogue that's like fucking me up here. That's good. And it ain't ever let you see it. What down there? Not even once. At this, Eddie seemed to make some kind of decision. Hold on a minute. He took the baby inside the house and came out with a glass of orange juice, which he held out to me. Rose made a jug fresh. Don't tell your mama I gave you any. I gave Eddie a look. You don't like her, do you? I did when we was all growing up together. Then she turned strange, started thinking she was hearing a man calling to her out in them woods. I heard her telling her ma about it. Sometimes it sounds like there's more than one man out there, she said. I'll call him my name. Don't you go near, Aunt Jeanette told her, no matter what you hear or what he tells you. But Beatrice wouldn't listen. She went on out there and met with the whale. Started dealing with it. Brought all kinds of things, only it was her it really wanted. The Well King, they say it does something to them that serve it. Brings something dark out in them. Makes them do worse and worse things until one day they go down that pit themselves, be with it, and don't come back. Imagine my mother sitting in the well bucket, smiling as she lowered herself down to the shaft. I felt a cold break out across me. Mama says he loves her, I said. And Eddie snorted. That thing down there ain't ever loved in its life. You ever seen him? No, and I'm glad I ain't. I had an uncle that did. He said it was just like in the stories. Scared him so bad he never went back. Your mama, though, if she's seen it and stayed, she ain't ever gonna leave. She'll go down that pit and take you in with her. What the fuck? So it's like a creature in a pit that just what's the word? Like snake charms their way into people's lives and just drags them down to the pit to feed. It's interesting. It's a little interesting. Eddie sighed and sat down in a desk chair he had out in the yard. Back when she started seeing the Well King, her mom and pa were fixing to cover it or close it up somehow. Whatever they could to keep it from getting to anybody. Figured maybe it'd die off if they did. They followed Beatrice out into the woods. That was the last anybody saw of them. My mouth opened, but I couldn't ask the question on my tongue. Eddie answered it anyway. How she got them down that pit, I don't know. Pushed them, maybe? Or killed them somehow and lowered them down after. All I know is when she came back, she had 2 mutt dogs with her. Both of them were vicious and crazy as anything. They bite folk, fight each other, and neighbors' animals at all hours of the night. Wound up both getting shot by somebody. We all figured it was a mercy. The things that Well King makes, most of the time there's something wrong with them. Or maybe it's they remember what they were, and it drives them mad. Alarmed, I asked, What about people? You ever hear about the pit making a person that and them being all right? Or are they bad too? A strangeness passed over Eddie's expression. I ain't heard enough about it to say. Lots of babies born over the years without a mother or father. A lot of them strange. Some of them turn to doing things you're too young to hear of. Ain't no way of knowing why they went that way or if the pit had anything to do with it. My stomach turned with the same cold that was all around me. What is he? I asked. Eddie shrugged. They say you can see it for yourself if you ask it right. Take some sort of gift and it won't be so dark down there. It'll let you look. I understand from this that Eddie did not wish to tell me, and for what reason I did not know. If he's got magic, why does he stay down there in the well all that time? Ugh! Okay. It's over explaining. I don't like how much they know about the creature in the well. I think it was better when it was some unknowable force. This is going in a direction I'm not a huge fan of. I'll keep reading. I'll keep reading. I'm already this far. How much more is left? Oh dear God. Here we are. If he's got magic, why does he stay down there in the well all the time? Been down there so long in the dirt and the dark, I don't want to be no place else. Folks say it was born down there, ended up fused with the walls so it climbed itself out, and then... He paused. It got all twisted up in its mind too, so that it ended up with powers of some kind. Powers that used to bring people to it and play with them. That's all it's ever known. You ought to go see it for yourself, so you know I'm telling you the truth. Then you come by and see me again. Before I could say anything more, Eddie stood up, folding his chair in two. I gotta go see Mary. Rose has been rushed off her feet since she was born. Gotta do my bit now, don't I? I was jealous, suddenly, wishing I had a father like Eddie. Not the hole in the earth I'd grown up with instead, but I only went away. Saying nothing of this, only thinking Mary was lucky without her even knowing it yet. Again, I was slow to make any kind of move towards the well, half frozen with the guilt of everything I'd been doing behind Mama's back, and half afraid of what I was about to find myself and half afraid about what I was about to find about myself in the pit. What stirred me to act in the end was my mother, and what I caught her at one. I feel like the punctuation's gotta be weird. It's throwing me off. What stirred me to act in the end was when my mother, and what I caught her at one afternoon when she thought I was playing in the house out of her way. As it was, I'd seen her from the window, walking out to the woods with a bundle in her arms. I guess was rags until a white arm stuck out at the end of it. Seeing it, I remembered something she'd said in the morning.
How about we get a pig? A cute little pig we could raise. Then we can eat it right up when it gets too big to keep.
I ran out to the tree line after my mother, then faster than I'd run all my life. Mama, I said, what are you doing with Mary? She jumped when she heard me, but her eyes were empty. No shame there in having been caught. No fear that I'd tell.
She was in the yard.
That's all Mama said. So you just took her? Gotta give her back. Please, Mama. For a minute, I thought she'd ignore me and keep on walking into those woods, but she must have figured I'd follow her, as in the end, she strode back to the Gio house and put the baby back in her stroller where it stood in the yard. Seeing her, Eddie and his wife started yelling and cursing, anger in their voices like I'd never heard her before or since. Mama just stood there, her face blank. taking every harsh word they had for her without saying a single one in return. Eddie glanced over at me, and I accepted that what he'd said was true. My mother wasn't right in the head, and it was only getting worse as time went by. She didn't care what anyone thought of her, only for herself and the pit she'd married. Even I couldn't reach her anymore. Still, I tried. Hey! Oh, sorry. I hate to interrupt the story with something other than me being bad at reading, but my blocking the word stream boo has blocked the bots. I just got a bot now trying to post and it got auto blocked. Life is good. Life is good. Probably not an native English speaker. Maybe. I mean, dude, the way I read, I might not be. It's like, fuck. I'm like trying to read the words and they're so fucking small. Is this like a sign of me getting old? What if I just like make it a bit bigger? Like this. What am I, French? How dare you? How dare you? I'm just stupid. I'm natively dumb. Okay. So we were right here. We're right. No, we're here. Gotta stop going out there, Mama, I said. Daddy ain't good. Daddy ain't good like you think. If he was, he wouldn't ask you to give him that baby. He gave me you. Who am I to argue with what he wants? I let her go after that, so disturbed that all I could do was watch as she slid away between the trees. I knew then that I had no choice but to do as Eddie had told me and try to learn from the Well King what he was, and who I was in turn. I couldn't have left town not knowing, and though the pit had never talked to me, I'd learned from my mother what things there were considered high value to trade. There were chickens in our yard that she kept to feed us. I caught 3 of them and put them in a box with holes in it, thinking my father would be more agreeable to answering my questions if I kept him fed. The stomach's to the way to a man's heart, Mama said once. Your daddy's no different in that way. Being that flashlights and lamps my mom had taken to the well on gloomy days had never touched. Wait. Being that flashlights and lamps my mom had taken to the well on gloomy days had never touched it, I didn't bother bringing either. The dark was part of my father, and I had some idea he'd move it apart so that I could see inside. The walk out to the pit was hard. My arms wrapped tight around the box, slowing me down. The noise the chickens made seemed so loud in the quiet of the woods. I was sure the Well King must have known that I was coming, waiting for me out there in the earth with the patience only something old and strong could know. When I got to him, I felt the usual grim presence surrounding the pit, tugging at me like a chain. I was careful putting the chickens in the well bucket, which was bigger than any used to pull water up, but being nearly as wide as the hole itself. I kept thinking to lose my balance and pitch down over the edge, clinging to the frame from the bucket. Clinging to the frame the bucket hung from with a hysterical grip. I brought you something to eat, I said to the pit as bravely as I could manage. Can you show me what my mama gave you to make me with? She won't say. I hope the birds are enough. I don't have anything else. As usual, the well didn't answer me, but began to lower the bucket anyway, watching the chickens flap their wings against the side of it with a squeeze of guilt. Soon the dark took them in, and I felt the give of something pulling at the bucket. Heard the squawk of the birds as it grabbed on. Feathers fluttered up from the well shaft, some of them stained at the tips with blood. My mouth was rancid with bile, and I still stood bravely drawing the rope back up, sensing a new weight on the end of the line. As I tugged hard on it, daylight touched the bucket, and I saw that it had been filled up with rodent skeletons. Their tiny skulls ending in curved white teeth that flashed in the sun. I sat down hard by the pit, feeling dirt and grass come loose under my fingernails as I scrambled back from the edge. Tears fell down my face, provoked by shock and revulsion and bewilderment. What am I? What are you? At last, a voice came up from the bottom of the shaft, more like the primal shrieks of some wilderness animal than anything human. You are my son, and I. As I watched the black of the well dissipated before my eyes like something in a dream. Only I'd never dreamed anything like what I saw down there. Not even when I woke myself up screaming sometimes. Pressed tight to the walls of the pit were hundreds of rats, some so small that their bodies were crushed and deformed by the weight of their brothers against them. Others nearly as big as dogs, raising their heads to look at me with crazed but intelligent eyes. At the heart of the well, all their tails were knotted together in a pink ball of flesh that throbbed like a beating heart. And beneath them lay what was left both of people and animals, all eaten down to their bones. What living creatures had been sent back up in the bucket in place of those things had their broken souls in them and nothing more. Nothing more was left. The Well King, the Rat King, watched me with his many heads as I stumbled back from the hole. Aware that I remembered being rats too once deep inside me. And like a rat I ran. They made a Rat King be intelligent. Yeah, I know Rat Kings are real. Yeah. Rat Kings are like the creepiest fucking thing, dude. I don't even know if I want to show this on stream. They're so gross. But yeah, like a bunch of rats like melded together because of their tails getting tangled. It's so weird. Poor rats, I guess is the only thing I could say. Oh my god. Okay. I went straight over to Eddie's house, soaked so badly with sweat that it looked like I'd been caught in the rain, and so exhausted from how fast I'd gone through the woods that I had no air left to speak with. Eddie came out to meet me like he'd been expecting me to call and put a hand on my shoulder. You saw it, he said simply. I nodded. He didn't ask anything more, only walked me around to his truck and opened the door for me to get in. As he pulled out onto the road, I saw my mother standing by, watching us go without trying to intervene. She looked beaten down by defeat, the lost little girl she must have been all those years ago when she traded for me. What became of her after I left that day, I never tried to learn. Not wanting to know whether the townsfolk had taken things into their own hands and had killed her like her dogs, or if, like the other servants of the well, she'd gone down to the Rat King to be with what she loved even in death. I'm fortunate I never felt her need to serve, that learning what I was disgusted me rather than making me feel any kinship with the creature. The rest of my childhood was spent living with an uncle I had in the city, a good man that, like Eddie had promised, didn't poke around in my past. Only accepted me as I was and even taught me a trade. Made me the man I am, one as good as he is, I hope. But as hard as I work, and as clean as I try to live, I've never been able to shake the crawling, dirty feeling of meeting my father, or of learning what I was built from. I keep waiting for something to rot inside me like it did the other creatures the Rat King made. But it's been 20 years since I saw his many faces. If he's in me still, he works slow. This story is unrealistic. The FBI would evict all the residents and lock down the entire town with electric fences and military personnel guarding it. I mean, that's if information got out. But in stories like this, the information never gets out. It's always like, it stays like a local rumor that people never pass on. Cause I don't trust them darn government, those goddamn diddly dang dong go government. Oh hell no. Hell no. Hell no. But I mean, besides me butchering the grammar of the story over and over, it wasn't that bad. I do like the idea of it being like a really old, intelligent rat king at the bottom of a well controlling people. I think actually no, I think I like the idea of the Rat King being there more than what they did with the Rat King, I think. Because I don't know how a Rat King would be able to spawn a human baby. Like, if we go down to the comments. So did you inherit the cool making people from rat skill of your dad? Yeah, like how... Not to be a giant nerd, but this is what the original Star Wars is about. Luke finds out he's related to someone evil and has to grapple with it. My own dad is an ordinary flesh and blood mortal, and he also sucks. There are many people in the Daddy Issues Club. Welcome. Alright, buddy. Okay. I love how they went from, this is basically Star Wars, to also my dad is awful. Alright, dude. Okay. Alright, we're gonna take a quick break for a second. My eyes, I don't know what it is. They're like having trouble focusing, which is the worst thing to happen when you're trying to read. Oh. Oh boy. Yeah, I think I got another story or two in me, yeah. Let's start with this bullshit right here. This fucking bullshit. Okay. I'm just gonna reopen the tab that we were in. And I think I'm gonna find another top one of all time. Or maybe just a top one of all time, because I don't think we've read one of those yet. I want to find one that Creepcast hasn't read, because a lot of these they have read. And I don't want to retread ground that I've already seen. Oh, scariest story of 2020. If you can see this, it is very important that you keep reading. Wait, the story's from 7 years ago, but it's also the scariest story of 2020? Oh, whatever. Okay. We'll go with this one. And, we'll do one more. I work security at Disney World. Well, I mean, I did. User Disney security. Okay. How long is this? How long? Okay, that's not too bad. That's a reasonably length one. We can do that. Oh, yeah, okay. Cool. All right, so we'll read the Little Piggy one. We'll read Little Piggy. Then we'll end off with these two. Then I might do something else. Okay. This music isn't nearly spooky enough. Lovecraftian dark ambience. Okay. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Actually, before we hop in the store, I'm just going to the bathroom real fast. Be right back. All right. I'm back. How we doing? How's YouTube doing? Let me check in on how YouTube's doing. Yeah, okay. No problem. Again, just want to thank anybody who's dropped by. If you're enjoying this kind of stream, make sure to let me know. If you don't care for this kind of thing, let me know as well. And yeah. Okay. This Little Piggy Went to the Market by Magic M. Totally not Magic Mike. My twin sister Liz told me one afternoon in the backyard at her new house that something pulled on her pinky toe in the attic. The attic was converted into a guest room by the previous owners. Occasionally, my sister would sleep in there with our parents' permission, so we weren't always in the same shared bedroom. We have an older brother who occupied the smaller but private bedroom, naturally. I think it may be a gnome or something, she said while making spooky faces at me. Boo! She shouted, grabbing my shoulders. The gnome comes out sometimes, then tickles your feet, Liz said before skipping away singing, This little piggy went to market. Liz loved to scare me. The weird, malformed tree that loomed over the house made her gnome story seem almost believable somehow. A stiff wind blew the tree and I ran inside the house. On a dare, I slept in the room one night. For some reason, I imagined the attic would turn into that magical village from the movie Troll. The movie Troll. No such thing happened, but the attic was quiet, pleasant even, with a nice overhead lamp that was perfect for reading before bed. I closed my book and shut off the light. As I was dozing off, something grabbed my pinky toe. Gently, followed by a scurrying noise and muffled giggling. Then I saw something run down the curved attic steps. Liz, wearing a black robe or something. That fucking witch. Okay, you got me. I saw you last night after you snuck in and pulled my toe, I said the next morning at breakfast. I don't know what you're talking about, Liz replied, scooping frosted flakes into her lying face. One night when she was sleeping in the attic, I silently crept up there and put fake Halloween spiders on her bed. Underneath the blanket, on the floor. Oh, on her bed, underneath the blanket, and on the floor. The next morning, though, the spiders were in a pile next to my bed, -1. At breakfast, Liz played it cool, like she wasn't aware of the prank the previous night, and no acknowledgement of her retaliation. I knew she kept one of the spiders and would try to scare me somehow. The scare never materialized, though. I was never really satisfied with my spider prank, but something inexplicable lingered in my mind about it for years. We grew older, entered high school, and Liz formally moved into the attic room. Liz started to hang out with her cool friends and seeing boys. Our parents were too aloof and too much in their own stuff to notice Liz sometimes didn't come home on weekends. I couldn't tell either. When her fucking hipster friends came over, I was never invited to join. Yeah, fuck my sister not inviting me to play with her friends. What the fuck? I'd hear the pitter-patter of feet sometimes. That really was the only indication that Liz was home. That sound somehow gave me comfort. Liz was home and not having fun with her friends somewhere. I preferred to stay home and read while Liz spent weekends at her friend's house or attending parties. Liz's nights out were frequent enough I began inviting friends over for company. That friend would usually stay in the attic room. Well, only one friend really. Rebecca, my chess partner at school. She came by one Saturday night around Halloween. We played chess and talked about boys until midnight. Sometime during the night, someone hurriedly came into my room and jumped into Liz's old bed, throwing the blanket over their head. Liz came home and was probably drunk again. Something pulled on my toes last night, Rebecca said the next morning. It's probably as Chompers is playing with you. Chompers is our family cat. Gray nuisance that only came into the house occasionally for food and treats. And I saw Liz coming down the stairs. It all made sense now. Okay, you got Rebecca too, I said to Liz when she entered the kitchen. Rebecca knew about the gnome, but didn't believe a word of it. What are you talking about? Liz replied. Studying her face, she seemed hungover and was really confused about what we were talking about. The conversation went nowhere. Rebecca ran upstairs to grab her things and then left. She never came back to that house ever again after that. The party years of early high school quickly passed. Liz got more serious about her education and spent more time at home. After graduation, she left for university education upstate. I stayed home, attended a local art college, and moved into the attic room. I turned the old bedroom into a studio art space. Looking out of the attic window at the weird tree in the backyard, I opened the nightstand drawer. A missing copy of The Hobbit was in there with a small pack of Polaroids. A small stack of Polaroids of the interior of the attic sitting on top. I picked up the pile and jumped when I saw what was underneath. The missing spider from my prank 12 years ago. Okay, Liz, you got me again, you fucking bitch. She got me with my own prank. I laughed, though. I almost picked up the phone to call her, but decided against it. But then I called her the next day anyway. I asked, put that pile of fake spiders next to my bed back when we were kids, right? Liz denied any knowledge, no matter how many times I pushed. I did not put any spiders next to your bed, sis. Damn, I did not, she yelled. A short silence, then we both laughed out loud. Still, I didn't believe her. She's good. I recalled something our father told me while discussing me moving to the attic after Liz left for school. I was on the stair landing and I swear I saw something dart from our room to the attic staircase, my dad said, looking pale. He continued. It was dark and it moved fast. I bet, emphasizing fast. My parents' bedroom faced the stairs to the attic. I honestly didn't know what to reply at the time. Maybe it was Chompers, I said, but Chompers has light, bright gray fur. It was bigger than no damn cat, he replied. That night I stayed up late reading The Hobbit, eventually falling asleep with the book on my chest, my feet hanging off the bed. Something pulled on my pinky toe. This jolted me up, but only long enough to see the closet door slowly shutting. Being between sleep and wakefulness, hypnagogia, it was surreal. I wasn't sure if I really saw the door closing and went back to sleep. The next day I found myself singing This Little Peggy Went to Market on my way to class. During lunch, I pulled out the Polaroids that were stacked on top of the Hobbit book. There was 7 in total. In each photo, the room was dark, but with camera flash on. I shuffled through this deck of creepy photos until I locked eyes on one. At the bottom of the photo are 2 eyes peering through the closet door, sideways, reflecting the flash of the camera. Long, dark, skinny fingers gripping the edge of the door. My brother in Christ, why didn't you look at all the Polaroids sooner? What do you mean you waited? Wait. It was all the way back here that we found the Polaroids. Then a day passed. She called her sister. Sister denied it. Then you stay up, read The Hobbit, go to bed, wake up, and only the 3rd day is when you look at all the Polaroids. What the? Okay. Sure. I would have looked at the Polaroids immediately. I don't know. That's just me. I would have looked at them. Like, especially if my family doesn't have, like, a Polaroid camera, I would have looked at them all. I figure the creature's harmless, if even a little unpredictable. As long as you don't leave your jewelry out, it's been nothing but toe pulling, tickles, and spiders for 12 years. Hope it stays that way, though. I'm wondering what they like to eat. Fish, supposedly? Excluding hobbits, maybe leave a plate of fish for them. Watch what happens. Don't encourage it. Alright. Well, that was that one. That was okay. That was fine. Okay. Yeah, we'll read the Disney World one now. We'll read the Disney World. Disney World. Okay. I work security at Disney World. Well, I mean, I did. I work security at Disney World, the happiest place on earth. Typically, I wouldn't say where I work, as obviously there are some pretty strict rules about things employees can put online. But I just don't think I can tell this properly without that context. And honestly, I think this may be it for me anyway with this job. I just can't see myself working here any longer now. I've been with the company for 23 years. First 20 years I worked in the parks, nabbing shoplifters and rounding up people who are drinking too much for the heat. Occasionally there'd be a fight to break up, but people usually kept it pretty mild. Heat and walking was getting too much for me the last few years, so I asked to be transferred somewhere with AC, and the company moved me to one of their resorts. While the working conditions were 110% better as far as climate and comfort go, the guest issues were trickier, mainly domestics. I guess the expensive and stress of vacation got to a lot of people, and I'd be called by neighboring rooms because some mom and dad were yelling at each other. I tried to suggest they take a nap or go do separate activities for a bit, and that would usually calm them down. But none of that is what I'm here for. I've got to get this out while I have time. 3 days ago, I got a call from management. Apparently a couple of days before that, housekeeping had went into a room that should have been turned over that day. Turned over is when one guest leaves by about 11 a.m. and the next one checks in around 3. And all the guest items were still in the room. Housekeeping made a note of it and moved on, but during the next 2 days when they entered the room, everything was still there and untouched. I went to check it out, and sure enough, there was an empty room full of luggage, clothes, snacks, and toys. Everything a family would need for vacation. Manager had already looked up the previous reservation. It was for a family. Dad, mom, 2 little kids. Tried to call the phone numbers they had given, but all I got was voicemail. We were a bit stumped, so I made the call to the housekeeper so that the housekeeper could clean the room and take the family's personal items to be held until we could get into contact. I dug into the reservation some more. The family had arrived about 5 days before housekeeping discovered all their stuff. I found that the family had paid a parking fee and their vehicle description was listed. A quick walk of the parking lot and I had easily located their vehicle. So that ruled out a car accident or them deciding to just leave all their stuff behind. Next, I saw that they had bought a dining plan. This is when a guest prepays for all their food. They're given a certain number of credits to use for meals. This family had only used 3 credits, and the last one was 2 days after they checked in. It appeared that the day they arrived, they got here late and probably just stayed on the resort. The next day, they used 2 credits at Epcot. The second park day, they used just 1 credit at Magic Kingdom, and it was at breakfast time. At Disney, we have something called magic bands. Magic bands are worn by the guests and act as a room key, park ticket, credit card, dining reservation payment, fast pass, and more. It took some work, but I was finally able to look up this family's fast pass history. The day they went to the Magic Kingdom, they had breakfast at a restaurant in the park, rode a couple of rides, and then rode their last ride, the Small World, around 11 a.m., then nothing. Finally, it was time to bring in someone else on this. I called an old co-worker at Magic Kingdom and asked him to pull security footage for its Small World at the time they rode it, and I made my way over there. When I got there, my friend was very confused, almost distraught looking. He showed me what he found. There's usually a camera in the direction of where rides load and unload. The footage showed them scanning their bands to use fast passes for the ride and boarding the ride. The footage from the exit of the ride just showed the other people in their car exiting. They weren't there. Of course, we thought the worst. Maybe one of the kids had fallen out and mom and dad and the other kid got off in the middle of the ride to help and they all got injured, or killed, or stuck in machinery somewhere. So we shut down the ride, middle of the damn day. Turned off that earworm music and turned up all the lights. Me and my buddy walked that ride 3 times before we called in help. Eventually, there was close to 10 cast members searching. We didn't find shit except for 3 cell phones and a hat. I was right stumped. I kept digging though for the last couple days. I'm not sure who to tell what I found. I'm not sure who to tell what I found next to. What? Okay, I'm gonna ignore that. I've called the police and I suppose they're on the way, but the company has a way of covering up things like this, and I decided I can't live with myself if I don't put some type of warning. I kept digging into the reservation over the last couple of days, and I noticed they had purchased Memory Maker. There are photographers all over the park and cameras in a lot of the rides, and with Memory Maker, the photos are all free. They automatically get added to a guest Disney account when the system knows their picture has been taken. And the system always knows. Everyone's whereabouts are always known with magic bands. I feel like I know where this is going. I feel like we're gonna find their picture that got taken during Small World. And it's gonna be like some creature like grabbing them mid-ride or something. I don't know. That's what I think, at least. I opened up their Memory Maker photo album, and I swear there's 732 pictures. The first 30 or so are pretty normal. Epcot, a few rides in front of the castle, but the rest are all in It's a Small World. The rides only take one picture per go-around. So it appears that those families ridden this ride over 700 times. The first picture was pretty normal. Everyone looked happy. It was a busy day and a full car of guests. The next one is rough to look at. The car is empty except for this little family, and they look so darn confused. The next 10 to 15, I can see Dad getting angry, yelling. Mom is holding on to the two kids like her life depends on it. You can see the kids getting increasingly upset, crying, and it goes on and on and on. After 50 or so, it looks like they're trying to get out. In one, the dad is missing. In another, they're all gone. Maybe like they bailed early in the ride and tried to walk out. But in the very next one, they're all right back in that damn car. After around 450 or so, I only see the mom and the kids. Just when I look closely, I can see Dad, maybe just his body now, slumped down in one of the other seats. Since about 675, there's just mom and one kid. Another body, another seat. The mom and kid aren't moving anymore. I think them two are still alive, just damn near catatonic, looking straight ahead, pale. And y'all, I swear on my fucking life, the dolls are moving or something. In some of these pictures, I can tell they aren't where they should be. I even saw one with a doll in the car with his family. I can't look anymore, I'm gonna lose my lunch. I closed the album. Its file size has increased since I closed it. God, are there new pictures being added? I see on security that the local PD just arrived, so they'll take over soon. I wish I knew what the fuck was going on, but I also wish this damn thing had never landed in my lap. I don't think I'll be able to update this. After I talk to the police, I think I'm gonna walk out of here and never come back. I just want to get this out there before Disney feeds the media some bullshit cover-up as to why a whole family vanished. They didn't vanish. I know where they are. Damn! Damn. I like this one. This one's cool. This is one of the top ones of all time, so I should have expected that. That was really cool. How did the employees not realize after like the 10th time it was the same family on it and not getting off? I'm about to go on Small World, and I think I'm scaring everyone around me as of right now. I forgot, like, people comment on these posts like they're, like, real. Everyone sort of plays into the bit that it's real. There's gotta be at least one comment being, like, breaking character. maybe not. But no, that was a good story. That was from Disney Security. That was a good one. That was a good one. Honestly, would have been believable if the employees would have noticed earlier that, hey, why is this file so fucking big? Then they would have shut down the ride and torn it all down. I mean, like, yeah, no, like, it's very suspicious that that one file is big, but no one probably bothers to check those out unless a family, like, requests them to go in there. Like, that's what I think. I've never worked at Disney or anywhere like that, but I assume most employees won't go into every folder like that and just look at it. Like, I think during a brief skim, you wouldn't even notice. I know I wouldn't. But, your grandpa worked as a gate guy in Disney in the early 2000s, they would realize? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But, no, that was a cool story. Again, I liked that one. I like how this writer also just created a separate account to write this, then never wrote on here again. I feel like that you could do more with this. Like, this is a cool concept. Okay. Yeah, we'll read this one, then we'll see how we feel after this. My sleep schedule got a little fucked up because of D&D yesterday, so I'm feeling a little tired. So I may end after this, but we'll find out. We'll find out. Okay. All right. Just give me 1 second. Just gotta do something real fast. Sorry about that. Be right back. All right. Sorry about that. I had to go ride a small world real fast. Unfortunately, I didn't get trapped in the endless loop, so I am still alive. Sad to say.
Okay, sorry about that.
How's my music doing? About halfway through, that's fine. All right, let's start this this next one. If you can see this, it's very important that you keep reading. This is Colonel Jacob Wayne of the United States Air Force. If you're reading this right now, it's very important that you keep reading till the end. It should take 3 to 5 minutes, and extremely important that you read carefully and follow the instructions provided. Humor me if you must, but please don't look away until you finish reading. Oh, and please try to stay calm. Any increase in your stress levels will draw their attention. Ergo, I won't go into detail as to how you got where you are. How you got here isn't as important as getting you out. Believe me when I say we are working on that right now. Best way to help yourself is to keep reading. Don't scan ahead. Don't read out loud. Oh, fuck. Wait. Wait, am I fucked? No, if I die, I die. If I die, I die. Right now, you're probably thinking back on the past few days and nothing felt out of the ordinary. You went about your regular daily activities with nothing unusual to report. That's because they're very good. So good, most people don't even realize they're in the simulation. Even as our code works, it's way deeper into their program. They're monitoring you, so please remain calm. It was tricky, but we found a way in to communicate directly with you. We had to embed this message into your daily routine so it didn't draw their attention. You're probably reading this on Reddit, Facebook, or some other social media site. Oh mein Gott! I am reading this on Reddit. How did he know? Must be real. Oh God. We can't control how the message gets to you. We only know that you're receiving it. Subliminally, as your eyes are passing over these words, a code is being uploaded into your brain. Think of it as a computer virus, or in this case, an antivirus. Your brain is an organic computer, and they exploited that. They hacked right into your subconscious mind and overrode it with their simulation code. That's how they got in. And that's why everything appears normal. You might think that you're going about your daily life, but in reality, you're strapped to a table with tubes sticking out of your body. Huh? Oh my God, there's one on my butt! Oh my God! It's true! Now that the code is uploading, you may begin to feel some sensation. For example, one ear might feel slightly warmer than the other. Might even feel an itch or tickle. Don't scratch, just let it be. Ignore the dull background hum you might feel as well. That's their program. If they catch on before our code is time to work, they'll abort the simulation. If that happens, you'll be lost to us forever. Oh, and don't be alarmed, but by now they realize we are in their system. You may notice some small changes, especially a slight shortness of breath or that you have to control your breathing manually. This is normal. Oh, and don't be alarmed, but... I read that. We know from their communication attempts that whenever they discover a code break-in, the first system they power down is the one controlling your breathing. Thankfully, even in this simulation, you're capable of breathing manually. Try it. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Congratulations, everyone here is now manually breathing. You're welcome. Breathe in. Breathe out. You're welcome. Awesome. You're doing just fine. They probably figured out there's a glitch, but if our code is working, we've disabled their ability to do a hard reboot. Because of this, they'll try other methods to disrupt the upload. I'm getting bored of this. Okay, I'm bored of this one. I'm gonna find one more. That one's boring me. My wife has a removable face? I like the sounds of that. Or my sleep paralysis demon is actually a pretty chill guy. Hey, this one actually released in 2020, so Scariest Story of 2020 is accurate. All right, how long is this? How long is this one? Okay, dude. Yeah, this is a save it for later type one. Holy fuck. Is there like a save later button on here? Save. There we go. All right, we'll do this one now. Okay, not nearly as long. Okay, cool. My wife has removable face. I've never glimpsed what lies beneath it, but my best friend has, by N.S. Lewis. Okay. Samantha told me about it on a third date. We were watching a movie on her couch when I made my move to kiss. She whipped her hand in front of my face and blocked me. There's something you need to know. I braced myself. Here it comes. I'm not ready for a relationship. Nothing to do with you, of course. It's the absolute last thing I wanted to hear, because I was already crazed about her. Okay, I said. I have a removable face. That's a new one. You have a what now? I was about to laugh, but she was wearing a deadly serious expression. I have a removable face. Removable face. Is that like a metaphor or something? No, my face is literally removable. Look closely. She lifted her chin and traced her jawline with a finger. You can see the seam. After admiring how beautiful her neck was for a dizzying moment, okay, weirdo, I leaned in for an inspection. It's very hard to see, but it did look like a slightly unnatural transition there from her face to her throat. I grew dizzy as a dozen fucking man. Oh my god, maybe I need to like lean back so it's easier for my brain to register the words. I'm too close. Okay. I grew dizzier as a dozen questions rushed into my brain. Facial reconstruction surgery horror. We're gonna find out there wasn't really any horror here. She's got like really badly burned. Don't bother asking why or how or anything like that, said Samantha. I can't tell you that. That's gonna be a problem. You should leave now. I'm letting you know this because I like you. I want to take the next step, but this is non-negotiable. Okay, I said, unsure of what was happening. Not a problem. So what? You have a removable face? Who cares? Looks good. There's something else. Once a day, usually in the evening, I have to remove the face and disinfect the inside of it. If I don't, it'll rot. This takes about an hour, give or take, depending on how my day went. During this time, you must never, ever look at my real face. Do you understand? The rot. She's got the scarlet rot. Underneath the mask is just millennia from Elden Ring. You glimpse behind the mask and the boss fight music starts playing. Yeah, I got it. Don't ask about it. Don't look at your real face. She stood up. Now, I'm gonna go into the bathroom and clean my face. That'll give you plenty of time to think about what I've told you. If you're here when I'm done, that's great. I'd like that. But if you're gone, I'll understand. She turned and walked into her bedroom. I sat in stunned silence as I heard the bathroom door close. I gave it some serious thought. It was possible that it was a joke of some kind. It was possible that it was a delusion. But was it possible that it was true? Well, it was certainly possible to transform an actor's face with movie makeup. So I suppose it was possible that Samantha wore a removable face every day. Maybe she'd had a horrible accident where her flesh had been mangled. Maybe her face had been melted by acid or burned by fire or skin shorn off by heavy machinery. If it had, I'd never know, but she'd never tell me. I would never see it. I pictured a face of raw, naked muscle rotting away. Could I kiss her? If that was what I was kissing? But wasn't that what we all were under the skin? Just muscle and bone and blood and squishy organs? I paced around the living room, running my hand through my hair. I liked Samantha a lot. She was smart, funny, and beautiful. But was that beauty real? Did it count? Did it matter if it was real or not? Was I being superficial even worrying about it? When she came out of the bathroom, I was still there. I looked at her face. She smiled and I was in love. We dated, we moved in together, and we decided to get married. For the most part, it was completely a normal relationship. Typical of two young people in love, building a life together. During the day, it was easy to forget about the face altogether. It looked natural enough, and only in certain positions, in certain lights, was there ever any indication that it wasn't natural. So, wait. The face, like, can express emotion? Like, that's a very advanced wearable face. That's like up there. I think it'd be creepier if like the face didn't express. It was like a blank mask. Like I wouldn't go along with that, but like if the face can express and look relatively normal to like an unobservant viewer, then it's probably fine. Probably fine, yeah. Yeah. But every night was the same. Samantha would close herself in the bathroom, sometimes for an hour, sometimes for 2, and clean the inside of her face. The curiosity never left me. I would sit there and wonder what was under that face. I came so close to barging in on her a few times, but never did. I did occasionally ask her about it. About what, if anything, had happened. But how it was possible to make the removable face look so real. About what it really looked like underneath. I tried to coax her into showing me, assuring her that I loved her no matter what, and didn't give a damn about a real face. Didn't give a damn what a real face looked like. I was just curious, that's all. She never showed me or told me the story behind it. She didn't get upset at me, unless I was really badgering her. She'd just shrug and say, "You know you can't see it. You know I can't tell you about it." I never told anybody about Samantha's removable face. It's not that she asked me not to. I just didn't think it was anybody's business.
Oh, my fucking scroll wheel, I'm gonna lose it.
Except once I did tell somebody. It was during a bachelor's party. We had rented several cabins in Big Sur. Spent the night drinking and packing our noses with powders that we shouldn't have been packing our noses with. Everyone else had passed out, and the sun was creeping up behind us as I stood on the majestic cliffs with my friend Chris, looking down. Sorry about that. Where was I? With my friend Chris, looking. I'm going to start the entire sentence. Everyone else had passed out, and the sun was creeping up behind us as I stood on the majestic cliffs with my friend Chris, looking down on the Pacific waves crashing against the rocks. Chris is my best friend, close to a brother as I'd known. We'd grown up together and visited each other at college often, and spent the summer together. After college, we'd moved to different cities, but we stayed in close contact. Standing there on the cliffs, I told Chris about Samantha's removable face. At first, he thought I was joking. Then he had 1,000 questions, most of which I couldn't answer. What's underneath? I don't know, man. Doesn't that drive you crazy not knowing? I shrugged. Lots of stuff I don't know. Don't know how to do calculus, and I don't know what happens when we die. But dude, she's about to be your wife. I don't even know what she looks like. I mean, I'd have to take a look. Like, could you set up a camera in the bathroom? That's where she does it, right? Set up a camera, and have a look, and then you'll know. I sighed. Yeah, it drives me crazy. I've asked her 1,000,000 times, but she told me I could never look. Gotta respect that, man, even if I don't like it. That's love. He laughed. You tell me to respect a woman? Up is down now. Alright. Alright, brother. Alright, brother. The real horror here is fucking misogyny if I had anything. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. That's crazy. Respecting a woman? Now that's crazy. Then we fell back into talking about old times as the new day dawned. Chris was in town for business last week. Planned on spending the weekend at our house. The conversation of Big Sur had happened 4 years ago. We hadn't spoken about Samantha's removable face since, despite keeping in close contact and seeing each other as often as two people transforming into adults in different parts of the country can. It happened on Saturday evening. We were lounging lazily in the backyard, deep into the beer, and having just finished with some grilled steaks, when I got a text from work. Sorry, I need some water. God damn it, I groaned. I have to make a work call. Seriously? Said Samantha, raising an artificial eyebrow. On a Saturday night? My biggest client, baby. Sorry. It is what it is, I guess. I'm gonna head inside and get cleaned up. Chris, are you okay just hanging out for a bit? Chris smiled. I'll be fine. Got my beer. Got some weeds to pull in your garden. God knows your lazy-ass husband isn't gonna do it. Those tomatoes are choking to death. It's a tragedy. I rolled my eyes and went to the side yard to make my call. 15 minutes into it, I heard the screams coming from inside. Both my best friend and my wife were wailing in terror. I dropped the phone and ran to the house. Ran into the house and down the hall to our bedroom. Through the open door, I could see that the door of the master bathroom was also standing open. Don't come in! I don't have my face on! Call an ambulance! He looked! Oh God, he looked! She sounded desperate and truly horrified. That made me desperate and truly horrified. And I wanted to rush into the bathroom, but I knew suddenly that would be a mistake. I knew suddenly that Samantha didn't want me to look at her real face, not out of a sense of vanity, but for my own safety. Chris staggered backwards out of the bathroom. He was holding a straightened out paperclip, which he had used to pick the privacy lock. Now he was stabbing it again and again into his eyes, shouting gibberish. He was clearly in the depths of madness, and it turned my stomach to see him mutilate himself. Call a fucking ambulance! Don't come in here, he fucking looked! I turned and ran back to the side yard, where my phone was lying in the newly mowed grass. My client was still on the line, alarmed, asking what was happening, what all the screaming was. I hung up on him and called 911. When the paramedics arrived, Chris was having a seizure in the hallway. Samantha was stroking his head, sobbing. Her face was on, but it had been done hastily. Everything looked a little off. Okay. So she's like an eldritch abomination underneath that mask. Like if you look at her, you go crazy type mad. That's interesting. I like it. I like it. I wonder if we're gonna see it, see what it is, but maybe not. Ah, fuck. Sorry, give me a second. Ugh. All right. My world has been dark this past week. My best friend is in a psychiatric hospital under suicide watch. He's completely blind and mostly catatonic, except when he slips into a violent, babbling mania. The doctors are optimistic that his state is temporary, but they don't know the truth about what caused it. They told the paramedics that Chris had taken a large dose of psychedelic mushrooms and fallen into psychosis. I saw no good reason to tell the truth about what had happened. Who would believe that one look at my wife's real face would make somebody insane? At best, we would be the subjects of a long investigation. At worst, we would have to prove that what we were saying was true by showing somebody Samantha's face. The same thing would happen again. But after that, I had no idea and no interest in finding out. For Samantha's part, I knew that she would never consent to show anybody her real face, no matter what the consequences of refusal were. I did get a follow-up call from the police asking me to confirm my story. The hospital found no traces of psilocybin in Chris's blood, though that's not unheard of, since it is a short half-life. If they end up testing his hair, I'll likely be in a lot of trouble, but that's truly the least of my concern. Samantha is in a state of her own. She still cleans the inside of her face, though not as regularly. And when she puts it back on, it's always crooked now. It's beginning to smell a little bit. I've tried to assure her that it wasn't her fault. He knew, I said. I told him that nobody was ever allowed to look at it. He knew, and then he broke into the bathroom. It's not on you. Please, talk to me. Not on me? That one look at my fucking face makes people insane? Please, I just need some time alone. As for me, still do my best to hold it together. Do you know what's strange, though? Despite what happened to Chris, I still find myself curious about my wife's real face, about what my wife's real face looks like. More curious than ever, really. Okay. All right, is there more to this? Or is that it? Wait. I hope there's continuation. Aw, man. What's this about, a novel? A novel? Okay, so bro has a novel. All right, let me turn the music off. Bro has a novel. What is this? A facade of flesh. My wife has removal face. 13 terrifying tales for your darkest nights, from horrific murders to sinister experiments. Okay. Seems like it's just like short stories, but that's pretty cool. All right. I would have loved a continuation, but it is what it is. Okay. I think I am gonna call it there. I'm losing my voice, and my eyes are not playing friendly with me, so I think I may call it here. But no, this was interesting at the very least. I think if I do another stream like this, I don't know if I want to do more creepypasta readings, but other stuff could be fun. I kind of want to read stuff like Am I the Asshole at some point. I thought that'd be funny. Though I guess that is also stealing a bit of Northern Lions bit, but whatever. All right. Where's my music? I closed my music. Give me a moment. Honestly, you're not a fan of horror because your brain imagines images of stuff you read. Like your brain conjures up the images of what you're reading or listening to, pretty much. Yeah. Okay, I get that. I get that. I don't really... My brain has a tough time doing that, like conjuring images when I read things. It's kind of hard for my brain to do that. Like, I have like the faintest image in my mind, but for the most part, I'm just like reading words and just like putting it together in my head. I don't know how to put it, but like, I don't have a photographic memory or photographic mind, or something. But yeah, no, bleh. I can't talk. That's the case. That's fine. If I do this again, I may just read funny stories from different places. Like, Am I the Asshole, or other funny subreddits. Reddit has become like the congregation of the biggest weirdos and assholes on the internet, so it's like the best place to get those weirdo stories without going somewhere like 4chan. And I don't want to use 4chan. I'm not really a 4chan guy. So yeah. But thank you to everyone who dropped by for stream today. I know it's a bit different, not really what I usually do, but hopefully it wasn't too bad. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to be back for a shorter stream during the day. There is a new game that came out that I saw on Steam before I started stream called... where is it? Bad Cheese. It's a horror game with like the classic Mickey Mouse kind of art style that I thought could be pretty fun. So I think I'm going to take a look at that. Should be a pretty short game that we could do. I'm going to correct myself. I might do it tomorrow or the day after, depending on how I feel. My sleep might be a little off because I'm trying to fix it still because of Sunday. So I may do it Tuesday instead when I'm back into the routine. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll give myself leeway and say Tuesday. So yeah, thank you all again, and I'll catch you on the next one. All right. Bye.